This is the mistake so many of us get trapped in when we want to change our lives. Hello, my friends. It's Katie from Voice of Moxie. And today I'm going to talk to you about shifting our life, transformation, identity, and the common trap that I got caught in, and I see so many people, and it keeps them stuck. And when we begin to shift our life, the first thing that catches us is that we start by asking, how? How do I change my life? How do I take the steps? How am I supposed to move or take the actions that I haven't done before? And we get stuck. We get stuck behind the process, the strategy, trying to figure out and be able to see the way forward. And it's that question, how, is the one I see that kept me trapped, staying stuck in my old life, staying small, and feeling paralyzed. And if you feel like that, if you feel like you have something in mind that you want, you have a vision of your life, but you can't get there, and you just feel like, I just need to know the next step. I just need to know how. And you would pay $1 million just to know how, you're not alone. And the thing about that is it's normal and it's the way you were designed, because how we are used to thinking, most of us use our logical brain when we are trying to move about the world. We're making conscious decisions, and but here's why you get stuck. So you're asking how to change your life, but you got where you are by being who you've been. Like the saying goes, we can't become somebody different in the same identity that got us where we are today. So your brain, you're searching your brain for how to get where you've never gone before. And the only thing our logical brains can give us is past memory, past experiences, what it's already gone through. And so when you start thinking about what you want, your brain does not have a blueprint for where you desire to go. And this is what keeps so many people trapped in thinking, I can't. I can't because I don't know how. And we get caught in thinking that if we just knew how to get there, we would be there. But that's not actually true. And the reason I know it's not true is because we have access to unlimited amounts of information. You can go on ChatGPT or any AI platform and you can type in how to do anything, and it won't actually get you where you want to go. And the reason is because the how isn't actually holding us back. It's our identity. It's who we believe we are and who we'd have to be to have what we desire. And who we are currently is not in alignment with the version of us who has the life we desire. And that's what's actually underlying all of it. So when you want to change your life, when you are set, like you're done with like old patterns, old habits, or you see things within yourself and you want to shift, you're in a beautiful place. You are at the starting point, because the starting point of change is desire. The starting point of any achievement is desire. If you can even name what you no longer desire, from there, you can launch into what you desire. And many people get stuck, unable to identify where they want to go because they don't know what they desire. But if you ask people, most people could tell you what they don't desire. Based on past experiences, you could tell me what you don't want to experience again, what hurt you, what really triggered you, what changed you. And from there, if you can identify what the op- opposing thing would be, what the opposite of those anti-desires would be, you would find your deep desires and callings and purposes within them. And once you can name those desires, it is then that you can hold those desires. But here's the thing, you don't start asking how to get them. How do I get that thing? What we do is we feed our brains that new desire, and we give our brains that new information. And our brains are amazing pattern recognizers. So when we give it a command, when we say, I want this thing, I desire this, to do this, our brains will go to work. And the thing about change is that the how isn't going to come by sitting and having a brainstorming session and putting pressure on yourself to figure it out. It's going to come when you hold the desire and you begin to step into a trust that the steps in the way will open. And it will take courage. Courage is the prerequisite for shifting your life, because you're stepping forward into something that you have never done before. And so you have to recognize that you will not know how to do it, but you will have to learn to release the need to have the steps figured out. Because if you have a goal and you already know all the steps to get there, that's not a big enough goal. That's not actually what your soul desires. The big things, your soul desires, those are the things that you can't figure out. And that's what most of us are talking about when we say, like, I want to shift my life. I want to transform. I want to quantum leap into the most powerful version of myself. That requires a different kind of courage and trust. That requires us releasing this notion that we're going to logically figure it out. And it's shifting from that lower sense of self, from I'll figure it out, I'll base it on my past, because you're not going to figure out the way forward based on your past experiences, which means you have to reconnect with the higher version of yourself, with your imagination. The imagination is the divine part of you, meaning it requires us to start learning to tap into our intuition, our inner voice. See, what we do when we're trying to figure it out is we're searching for the answers out there. How do I get there? How do I do this? I'll do it like them. I'll mimic this. I'll figure it out. But your specific desires and purposes are not going to come by just having someone tell you how. It's going to come when you learn to tap into your inner voice, into your soul. When you start to trust that the way will open, that you will hear intuitive hits, that your inner voice will guide you. Because when you give yourself a command or a desire, the highest part of you, your soul, knows already how this will play out. And it will give you visions, intuitive hits, the next steps. And as you focus on the desire and you release the resistance that you have to moving towards it, and when I mean resistance, things like, I'm not good enough, I'm not the kind of person who can do that, I don't have the time or the resources. When you release those resistances and you learn to just move forward by allowing those resistances to be reframed into powerful beliefs. So when you're saying things like, I'm not good enough to have that, to do that, I'm not that kind of person, those are the things that are holding you back. The way you see yourself, your identity is the only resistance from between you and your desired life, you and the goal. So as you listen to that inner voice and you take embodied action, you're going to be triggered, and it'll come in the form of resistance and those beliefs, and it will pull you back because your subconscious holds your identity. That means that we'll never be able to sustain any action going forward that's greater than the way we see ourselves deep down. And if you're looking for a really purposeful, deeply aligned life with your true self, it requires letting go of the need to know the steps, and tapping in to the deepest, highest part of you that knows the way. And it's going to take you along this path that sometimes seems a little like crazy and illogical, and it's telling you to do these things. But when you feed yourself the desire and you hold the desire for what you want, your brain, your body, and your soul is going to open the path. So the only thing that we are responsible for is where we put our attention. Where we place our attention and hold our attention, when we put them on our desires, the way will start to open. The synchronicities will come. And it is our job, our only job is to listen when we feel the nudge to take the action. And it requires a lot of messy, mediocre action when we don't feel comfortable. And here's the thing: identity shifting, changing your life, and actually seeing your desires manifest in your life, it's uncomfortable. And that's the part I think that people think they're getting wrong. Like, why does this feel so painful? Why does this feel so uncomfortable to change my life, to go towards my goals? This should be fun. And it can be. But the uncomfortable part of identity shifting and moving towards the life you desire is that you are shedding all the false parts of you, the parts of you that worked for approval, that your nervous system that felt safe in all the ways life felt familiar. Because when you are taking action and you're doing something, if you have a big dream or a goal and you're taking action towards it, like messy action, and it's really uncomfortable, that doesn't feel safe to your nervous system, because your nervous system doesn't have a blueprint for a place you haven't gone yet. And so you don't need to figure out the how. Your only job is to hold those desires deeply, hold onto them, and to train your nervous system to feel safe with taking new steps and being in the discomfort of the new. See, our bodies, we are made as primal beings, our human bodies are made to feel safe, to stay in the familiar territory, the big comfort zone. But the big comfort zone is why life gets to feel stagnant after a while. Stagnant, numb, lifeless. When you feel like depression, even, your soul is wanting to express itself. And it expresses itself through the desires that come to you. So when those desires come to you, when you really want something, your job is to hold that, to step into it, and to allow the path of your soul to unfold, to allow your soul to speak to you, and to let go of the need to have it figured out. And that takes courage. It's a decision to say, I will trust my higher self. I know the way will open. I don't need to know the whole path, but each aligned step will open, and I will take the steps as they come. And as you take step by messy step, by scary, uncomfortable, brave step, you will look back and you will be amazed at how you got where you got just by trusting and moving. But as humans, it's very uncomfortable to our egos. So hard because we're releasing the need to have it all figured out, to look a certain way, to look good. It's like being a beginner at anything. Our human self doesn't want to look bad at things. We like having it figured out because then we look better to the outside world. But when you are serious about your dreams, about moving into a version of you in your life that you have vision for, passion, purpose, it's going to require letting go of the human, letting go of the ego, the hows and the need to figure it out. And that's going to require a lot of that deep shadow work, releasing those limiting beliefs you have about yourself and stepping in to trust, trusting the higher way. And as you practice tuning in, hearing yourself, hearing a little nudge, taking the steps, you're going to keep moving forward. And as you step out of the comfort zone and just keep doing it, it gets easier. It gets easier to your body because you train your body that it's okay to step out. It's okay. I've got you. And as you step out, you remain the inner parent. See, you are the loving inner parent for the scared parts of you. Those scared parts of you are like inner child places that maybe have been wounded, may have learned that stepping out and doing different things or putting yourself on display or being visible in some way, it hurt. Maybe you got hurt doing it and you learned to protect yourself from stepping out. You learned, most of us learned that failure was a huge problem. Never fail, especially if you grew up in the school system. I mean, what do we learn? One of the first things you learn is to avoid failing. But this process of following your soul calling, failure is simply feedback, and it's telling your system what needs attention, what needs tweaking, and where you need to shift. And this is the process that will lead you to the life you truly desire. And it is a process, but it's only a road that the brave ones will take because it will be uncomfortable. But it's also the most purposeful, fulfilling path if you choose to do it. So I hope that when you leave this, you can sit with yourself and you can name your desires and you can allow yourself to release the need to have it figured out. You don't need to know the hows. Just listen for the next step, the next messy, weird thing that you feel the nudge to do. And then take embodied action and just one step forward. And then listen. Your soul will guide you. And then take the next step. And then the next one. And don't worry about what others think about the steps you're taking. And I know that's easy to say, don't worry, but it's really a decision. When you're following your soul's path and your mission, you're going to have to choose to listen to what your inner guidance is saying over what you're hearing outside. And that's a decision, and it takes practice. And that's why I say it's so important to give yourself a lot of grace and compassion when you are shifting out of the comfort zone of your life. So remember, my friend, you are on your own soul's journey, and you have the inner compass within you to hear the path forward. It takes training and trusting that little whisper inside, the voice that speaks to you in the shower, the one that nudges you when you're washing the dishes, taking the dog for a walk, driving in the car. As you do it, as you take those nudges and you write them down and you take action on them, you will begin to feel a greater sense of peace because you will start trusting your voice. And the more you take the steps that your voice, your inner voice tells you, you'll hear it. You'll hear it more clearly. And the most amazing things happen. It's a practice. Every one of us has intuitive power and guidance from our soul. don't need to worry about all the hows. Just take the next aligned action. I love you. Keep going.